While our local economy has taken some hits lately, the vineyard industry has been booming for the past 10 years. News Channel 5's Dave Arnold found some winemakers keeping it on ice.
You would think on a wind chill day that there wouldn't be much action in a vineyard. But this former church, now framed by dormant vines, has been transformed into South River Vineyard. Ice outside meant expert winemaker Gene Sigel had his mostly volunteer crews out late to help pick his special hardy grapes.
We have 25 different varieties of grapes, but only 3 of them actually end up in ice wine. Ice wine grape has to be one that hangs well late into the season. They get picked after 6 hours at 18 degrees. The night we had it, it got down to 13 early on about 10 o'clock, and we started picking. Then it got cloudy and came up to around 17. We started about 11 o'clock at night and ended about 3 or 4 in the morning. Each basket presses out about 50 gallons of fresh juice. Ice wines, by definition, come from frozen grapes. Frozen grapes are hard to press. They're like a piece of rock. And so we'll fill this basket with about a half ton of frozen grapes. Vidal is the most common, and then we also use a little bit of Concord and some Chambourcin. If the grapes come in too cold, then we get very high sugars and very low yields. If they come in a little bit too warm, then we get high yields and low sugars. When you have 50 gallons of ice wine together, it almost looks like Jell-O because it has a tremendous viscosity.
Gene's pressed grapes are then brought here under the watchful eye of Debonnaire Vineyards winemaker. They're warmed up to about 50 to 55 degrees, and then yeast is added.
See the white cap on top of that? That's the CO2 that's being produced from the fermentation.
Chalet Debonnaire winemaker Ed Trebitz says it's almost ready to rack it off the yeast and let it clear.
Wineries have become the backbone of our recovery the last 5 years in northeastern Ohio, especially Ashtabula County.
Dave Arnold, News Channel 5.
And this is expected to be a good year for Ohio ice wines. You can find out during the 10th annual Ice Wine Festival at several select ice wine vineyards for only $6 at each one. That happens the first 3 Saturdays of March.